Good morning, YouTube. This is your boy Cash Money Lamar coming live to you out of Raleigh. Um, just want to talk to you this morning and send out some words of encouragement this morning to you all. Because I tell you, we all need someone, praying, pushing us, uh, giving us that momentum that we oftentimes need to get to that next level. Uh, just to tell you a little bit about myself, born and raised in a little small town in Georgia. Um, Came up in a single parent household. Joined the gang at age 12, started selling drugs, violence, you name it. And I just want to tell you that if you put your mind to it, if you diligently work on yourself, you'll make it through this thing. And a lot of times, what we do, we focus on our weak areas, not in the sense of fixing them, not in the sense of trying to correct them, but we dwell on them and we harp on them, and we don't put ourselves in a position to become better. One of the main things that I've done over the past few years that's helped me was every morning I have a ritual. Each morning, first thing I'm gonna do is get up first, get me a little coffee in me, and I'm gonna turn on me some type of motivational speech or video. And YouTube has been one of the major platforms I've used to enhance my positive thinking. One of the major platforms I've used to, reinvent myself, so to speak. So I say to you today that find your morning ritual. Find your morning ritual, whether it's listening to some type of spiritual, motivational, some type of uplifting music to start your day. Because the most impressionable time of the day is the first 20 minutes of the day. That's when your thoughts and your brain is working at its highest capacity. And if you fill it with greatness and you fill it with positive things, your day will become a lot more manageable. Les Brown, Tony Robbins, my man E.T., Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, you name it, William Hollis. Find something, T.D. Jakes, anybody that can help you, anybody that can motivate you and push you to that next level, right? And I do this day in and day out. And it's to the point now where if I miss a morning without listening to some type of uplifting video or uplifting music, my day is kind of thrown off. And that's when you have to program yourself to diligently do this day in and day out. A part of my story is that, coming up in a single parent household, I fell up under the syndrome of what my ghetto boys had a song called The Blind Leading the Blind, right? I had friends, most of us had no father in the household, and we all learned from each other, okay? But we didn't have a clue of what life was about. We thought we knew, we learned from others who didn't know, and you end up falling into that trap of you thinking what they're doing is correct, and you have people under you or younger people from another generation thinking what you're doing is correct. So you have to find and seek and search for people who've been through similar backgrounds and similar paths and who've made it out, so to speak. Because every day is a work in progress, right? And I've learned that what you put in your brain or put in your mind day in and day out is what you get out. So what I learned to do was eliminate all negative aspects of life out my diet each and every day. No news. I don't need to watch the news and see the horrific and the bad things that happen to people day in and day out, because there's so many things that are newsworthy, so to speak, that don't make the news and you never even hear about it, right? So why should I concern myself with things that do make the news? All right. A lot of people say, well, you don't know what's going on in the world. I guarantee you, if you stop watching the news throughout the day, someone on your job, someone at school, someone in your family, someone in your household will let you know what's going on. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Oh, well, what happened? That way you're not consuming yourself with all those bad thoughts immediately first thing in the morning, all right? So first thing to do is eliminate the news. You got a weather app on your phone. You can check the weather on your phone without the other 59 minutes of negativity, right? Secondly, read. Read something. I'll never forget one of my best friends who's no longer with us, Rico Williams, who was killed and hit by a car a few years back. He gave me my first book, and it was a book, one of the books from the series of Iceberg Slim. And if you all know Iceberg Slim was a pimp who was, I think it was Detroit that he came up in, and it was, mostly, street savvy type stuff, right? And I was walking, I had the book in my back pocket, and this guy saw me and said, "What are you reading?" I was always Iceberg Slim. He said, "Oh, Iceberg Slim, man, that's some pretty graphic stuff." And he said, "Well, and the reason I say this is," he said, "well, at least you're reading, right?" And that sparked me to, indulge into other different things. I read a lot of cultural books, Dr. Ben, Dr. John Henry Clark, Carter G. Woodson, a lot of different things to try to, learn daily, right? So secondly, you gotta read. You gotta read something, whether it's your Bible, your Quran, something. I got a book, How to Win Friends, How to Influence People, whatever. Dale Carnegie, you guys know the book. And it just teaches you how to interact with people and how to be more effective in communicating, right? So second, you gotta read something. Thirdly, you have to find some type of, exercise in your diet. Me, I'm not the biggest gym buff. I'm not the biggest health food eater, but I know and I've watched and I've seen people grow from, going to the gym, whether going on a walk or simply deciding to eat better. Because the only thing that's gonna guarantee you longevity in life is taking care of your temple, taking care of your body. And no, I'm far from perfect. I have a lot of things I need to work on. But the first thing you need to do is admit that you have to work on yourself. A lot of times people we take on this persona of that we got our shit together and we got it going on. But if you're not eliminating negativity out your life, if you're not reading, if you're not exercising, there's some stuff that's missing, because we all know we have to, go to work, pay bills, this, that, and the third. But that's not what life is about. Life is about longevity, right? So in order to live a long life and a long, happy, prosperous life, you got to eliminate negativity, right? You got to learn more, okay? And you got to be healthy. So with those three things in mind, continue to indulge in those things, right? I love my guy Earl Nightingale. Earl Nightingale was a speaker back in the 30s during the Great Depression, and a lot of people don't know he was the first platinum recording artist. And all he did was this: talk on top of tracks, or talk on audio. And one of his most famous ones was The World's Biggest Secret. And the world's biggest secret is we become what we think about most of the time. And a lot of people think it's a cliche, oh, you can just think positive and things will happen good for you. I'm not saying that, but you're more likely to be successful. You're more likely to have a more, happy feel life if you think positive. I'm not saying that everything is going to be all honky dory just because you're thinking positive, but that's the first step to give living a more happy, fulfilled life, right? So, in essence, what we have to learn to do is train and program our minds to eliminate negative thoughts, right? And I can't stress this enough. I've been in sales for about 3 years, and one of the biggest tools I've used in sales is called indifference. Right? Indifference is it's not a big deal. You know, people don't like to be sold things. People like to feel like they're buying things. And when you make it a big deal, like, yeah, you gotta buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, people are prone to, reject you. But you can use that stuff in your same personal life. But like, hey, it's not a big deal. It's not. Why stress yourself about things that you have no control over? If it's raining outside, there's no need to get upset. Because can you stop the rain? Like my girl Missy Elliott used to say, can you stop the rain? You can't. So what you do? You get a fucking umbrella, a poncho, water boots or whatever, and you prepare yourself for today. And I say this to say, I say that to say this, if you work on yourself, if you put yourself first, I've learned that I got to put myself first. And some people will look at that as being selfish, right? I consider that being smart, because if I'm no good to myself, I can't be a benefit to anyone else. So once you get yourself together, you can be an asset to those around you. I learned that I can't put my kids first. People often say, "Oh, my children come first." How? How can your kids come first when they're dependent upon you? If you're putting all your energy and effort into them and not putting any energy and effort into yourself, they're going to be lost because they have no guide to follow. And then they'll spend their whole life putting their energy into other people. Same thing with spouses. People say, well, my wife or my husband comes first. You have to put yourself first. And not in a selfish state, but in a state to where you're bettering yourself day in and day out. Therefore, they can reap the benefits of a better you. They can reap the benefits of seeing you day in and day out, working on yourself, working on your mind, working on your body, working on your health. And you can be an example of what they need to do to go forward. So, I got a buddy, he has a tattoo on his neck. It says, "Me first." Me first. And when I first saw it, I was like, what do you mean, me first? He's like, me first, man. And it never dawned on me at the time, but until you become a better person, until you learn to, take control of your life, you can't be an asset or a benefit to anyone else, right? So focus on you. Work on you. Read more, work out more, and surround yourself with positive, like-minded individuals, right? I have a lot of friends who are in the conscious community, who some of them like to try to bash those who are in the religious community. But instead of, clashing with those who are not on the same level, build with those who are like-minded, and then you can try to combine in some form or fashion. You can't go to a person, if you consider yourself conscious or you consider yourself religious, you can't bash the person who is not, thinking like you are. So that's why I say you have to surround yourself with like-minded individuals and then try to bridge that gap, all right? One person can't take on the whole religion thing. One conscious person can't be like, oh, you people are so dumb because you don't do this and you still believing in this, and vice versa. Religious people can say, oh, you going to hell because this. No, surround yourself with people who are like-minded, who are trying to achieve the same goals as you are, right? Become better in that circle, and then try to bridge the gap between the two, because most of the time it's just lack of communication. A lot of us don't understand that we both are saying the same thing. We both have the same common goal, but we're so caught up in the ideology that we are right and you're wrong. That's not the case. That's not going to help anyone, right? You surround yourself with those people who are aligned with you, who are trying to achieve the same goals that you are, And the same people on this side try to align themselves with people who are of like mind and the same got the same goals and things like that. And then you find the common ground, right? Because we all want better for each other and others. And once you find that common ground, then you build from that. So, in conclusion, I just want to say, be great today. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite slogans. Be great today, because at the end of the day, tomorrow is never promised. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is never promised. All we have each and every day is today. All we have is right now, the present. We don't. The past is gone. The future is not here yet. So if you focus on being great today, every day, you say, I'm going to be great today. Every day, your past will will look good, and your future will be promising. Because all you can focus on trying to fix everything that you can within yourself today. So be great today. Help someone. Focus on making at least 10 people smile today. Focus on trying to get at least 20 people to say thank you today. And then you also focus on saying thank you at least, 25 to 30 times a day. So be great today. Love one another. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals and find a common ground to bridge that gap between the communications barrier between any two groups of people. So in essence, be great today. Kiss your mother, kiss your children, love one another, and just you the shit. To be honest, you the shit. Peace. Cash Money Lamar out.